Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I will be talking about my own tier list for PvE content in IK. And I'm going to show you guys what I put on the SS tier, S tier, and A tier, and B tier. Keep in mind, I won't be talking in depth about the B tier and A tier other than B tier is just tank, there's just a filler. But A tier, they are good immortals that can do some damage, can carry you to a certain extent, but you're not gonna hit those numbers like those immortals in S tier and SS tier. So that being said, let's take a look at the tier list ranking. So this is my tier list for the PvE content. Keep in mind there are a lot of immortals that I didn't put in here because I feel like there's no point of putting more into A tier and just stack them in there, or B tier. And immortals like Attila, immortals like Ragnar should be in A tier here as well because they are very good support. They do have debuff and buff to your team. They work perfectly for your, for example, Merlin, right? And then you have Artemisia for Merlin here as well. And they are more like situational. They are not like high-end tier that you can see in the S tier and SS tier in this ranking right here. And the best one I've seen so far has been with Yoshi, of course, SS tier, the best one in the game, in my opinion. And I'm gonna show you guys some report right here that although this is not the best build, I have seen better, but I feel like you get the idea with what kind of damage he can do. And the spider is level 112, and he can do 2 million damage. And keep in mind, I do not have perfect skill for it, but those who does can at least get 1 billion damage output right there. So now that you know, you can start collecting. For example, Yoshi, he's a free-to-play immortals, get his artifact from Mysterium as well. There's a lot of places where you can get him, and he is performing very, very well. And the skills I probably would actually recommend is, if you have red skills, you probably want to go with Energy Mastery, right? I would not even go with Time to Shine or maybe Corrosive Power, really depending. This is more like, very high end, pay to win. But if you don't have that, I would go with Anger. I would go with, if you can get like one skills for example, PvE content, Blood Frenzy, something that can ramp up his damage, like for example, Demonic Contract, Battle Stance. They also would work very well on Yoshi. Not that it's gonna be that great because keep in mind, spiders usually last for 48 seconds, right? 48 to 50 seconds, and you need a lot of time for example, Demonic Contract and Battle Stance to ramp up properly, although Battle Stance ramp up after 20 seconds, which is only gonna have 20 seconds to do a lot of damage, so it might not be worth it. So you might look into other skills, for example, Adrenaline Rush. You want to have some skills that enhance his ultimate a little bit more, and it's going to perform for you really, really well. You might not have the highest, like high-end tier numbers, but it's going to perform for you quite well. And let's take a look at the S tier. Here we have several immortals, and I personally have Hippolyta and Kublai Khan right now, but I'm also working on Tutankhamun to max him out eventually. And the best support for this like PvE content, in my opinion, is going to be Matilda. Matilda is super, super strong, and Matilda can perform for you and ramp up your damage. And it's basically a very, very, very good PvE content support. And if you have the opportunity to get her, you should definitely get her, because look at this ultimate, right? Extra 20%, and then you have that 20% damage increase. And if you have specialization on Divine Blessing, you get like 60% damage increase, right? Which is really, really huge for like PvE content. The more damage you can make and ramp up, the better it is going to be. And that's why she is, in my opinion, the best support for PvE content. And then you of course have the Tomiris. Tomiris is actually pretty good as well. and she is kind of like optional version of the Fear of Domination. Sorry, I forgot about the skill name there. But Fear of Domination and Tomiris is like basically the same. So if you're using Tomiris, you're probably going to end up using, for example, Kublai Khan frontline with Tutankhamun as a carry. I would argue Tutankhamun is actually better, like the best damage dealer outside of Yoshi in this bracket right here. If you can ramp up his damage, ramp up his ultimate, and put them together, he will be super, super strong. I've seen some builds in the Time Rift Breaker, and they are using him in a special way. I'm gonna try to show you guys if I can find one so you guys can see for yourself. And if you go on the rankings right here and highest damage, let's see, for example, Dragon Blade, you probably have something like that, right? That is very strong as well. And then you have somebody like this. This build right here is really, really strong for Time Rift Breaker, and it can also translate to bosses, spiders as well. I don't know if that's gonna be better than with Yoshi, but it's definitely a way to go if you want to be a little bit unique, right? But so yeah, Tutankhamun is very strong. Hippolyta, free-to-play immortal, very, very strong, very, very good against the bosses. I think a lot of people know this by now because it slowed down the bosses so they can proc their ultimate, they can't stun, they cannot do anything. So a lot of people prefer her. I do as well because she is very unique. I like her ultimate. It looks really nice as well and perform really, really good. Arash is very similar, like kind of archer as Yoshi, but it's just that Yoshi do way more damage against PVE content. Arash is going to do a lot of damage as well. Like he can carry your team if you don't want to go with Yoshi. You want to have Earth Immortal. Arash is actually one of the better ones for this kind of like mode, right? Same thing with Sendok. Sendok and Arash is very similar, like archers right there when it comes to PvE content. Gonna do a lot of damage for you, and with the skills and stuff like that, will perform you very, very well. Empress Wu, this is my personal opinion. Some people might probably put her in A tier, but I think with her high energy region, you have all of this stuff like skills with Poison Thorn for mages, and then you have red skills like Energy Mastery, Infinite Firepower, and this kind of stuff. If you don't have that, you can have, for example, Corrosive Power. And if you don't have that as well, you can have, for example, the I believe it was Concentration, Spell Disintegrator. They are also very, very good on her. But the most important skill for the mages here, Poison Thorn, because that's gonna ramp up your damage significantly, and her single target like damage, her burst is very strong. So if you want to go with full fire team, you can definitely do that as well, but it's not gonna give you the high end, like high tier damage that Yoshi and possibly Tutankhamun can do for you. So yeah, that's my tier list. And what do you guys think about the tier list in general? Keep in mind there are many other immortals. I did exclude Chaos Immortals because I feel that is unfair, because I try to go middle ground as much as possible using epic immortals. And although yes, some of these skills like to make high damage require red skills, but it's not like necessarily all the time that you can kill or make a lot of good damage with epic skills as well. So yeah, if you still wonder why you don't see some of the immortals here, because I don't think they are good enough to be in S tier and SS tier. They should probably be in A tier and B tier, right? So it's everything else is between that, especially for epic immortals. But you have those Chaos Immortals that probably can be in S tier as well, but I don't want to include that because why would people get Chaos Immortals just to do spiders, right? That sounds really weird. But yeah, that's it for this video. What do you guys think about my tier list? Let me know in the comment section. And if you have any opinion about like which immortals should be higher or lower, let me know that there as well. So yeah, thanks you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video.